Hockey fans, the Michigan Girls High School Hockey League playoffs are live and on the air. We are live here at the Arctic edge of Canton, where it is the Michigan Girls High School Hockey League playoffs. And the second game in this rink today is the Livonia United team, who was 13 wins, 10 losses, no ties. They were fourth in Group B, versus the Grosse Pointe Northmen. They were 17 wins, 8 losses, 1 tie. They were second in Group B for these two teams. Taking a look, if I pull up and let me see, I should have their schedules here and the all sorts of paper that I printed out. I thought he had it. That's fine. So I'll pull this up here. Let's talk about a couple of the top scores that you have to look at for both of these squads. As for Livonia United, it's 31 points. Hammond has that on 26 goals and 5 assists. Stevens has 31 points as well on 15 goals and 16 assists. Howell has 28 points on Livonia United with 14 goals and 14 assists. Knapp and the number 4 spot with 27 points on 15 goals and 12 assists. And Shipley has 21 points on 8 goals and 13 assists. Then for Grosse Pointe North, it's Cuter, who has 97 points on 71 goals and 26 assists. She's number 11. And then for Bernie, she has 46 goals on 17, or 46 points on 70 goals, 29 assists. Kasuba has 33 points on 16 goals and 17 assists. Villani has 33 points as well on 7 goals, 26 assists. And then Phillips in the number 5 spot with 28 points on 11 goals and 7 assists. Taking a look at the schedule for the Grosse Pointe North team, taking a look at their last 5 games, as they beat Bloomfield Birmingham, a team who just advanced, beating Washtenaw United 4-2. Grosse Pointe North beat them 4-1. Then it was on Saturday, February 15th. They beat Plymouth Canton Salem by a score of 8-0. They played Mercy and beat Mercy on the 19th of February. They won that one 7-1. They lost to St. Mary's SCA. That was on the 20th. That was a 6-4 loss. And then they beat Livingston United 5-2. That was on the 22nd of February. Take a look at the last 5 games for Livonia United. If I flip over here and take a look, they lost to St. Mary SCA back on February 8th. That was a 9-3 loss. That over at the Orchard Lake St. Mary's Athletic Complex. They beat Ann Arbor Pioneer 4-2. That back on February 9th. They beat Grosse Pointe South 1-0. And over at Eddie Egger Ice Arena on the 12th. Then they lost to Cranbrook Kingswood over at Eddie Egger on the 19th. That was a 5-2 win by Cranbrook Kingswood. Then they beat Regina Lutheran North Austin. That at Eddie Egger, that was a 5-0 win by Livonia United. So a little bit about each of these two teams. We're about to get going. I didn't get a chance because there was not a lot of time between the two games. I didn't get a chance to verify pronunciation, so please forgive me. I'm doing my best, but I hope not to murder anyone's name too badly there. Grosse Pointe North is the home team. They have their white sweaters on with the dark green on their sleeves, the yellow and green across the middle, the green pants and the socks with yellow and green on it, green helmets. Livonia United is in their dark blue jerseys with the red and white trim, white helmets, dark blue pants, and dark blue socks with red and white trim there. As again, a good crowd here for both of these squads. It's been a lot of good folk here and a lot of full crowds for all the teams we've seen so far in this first day of action. Taking a look, the winner of this game will face Mid-Michigan Alliance. That will be at 2 o'clock on Saturday, the first here at the Arctic Edge of Canton. Here's the starting lineups for the squads. Conte comes out to the blue line. Shipley starting for Livonia United out to the blue line. Knapp skates out to the blue line for Livonia United. Howell patrolling the blue line comes out. Roberts, the other defender, skates out to the blue line. And Ferris is the starting goalkeeper. Gus Martinez is the head coach. Now for Grosse Pointe North. Martin skates out to the blue line for Grosse Pointe North. Kasuba coming out to the blue line for Grosse Pointe North. Bernie coming out to the blue line. Number 3, Quellino. And Phillips, the other defender. Flom is the starting goalkeeper. Now, ladies and gentlemen, to honor America, the playing of the national anthem. Both squads getting ready to go. You just write a couple notes really quickly down here. Alrighty, as 15 minutes up on the clock. Getting ready to go here. Grosse Pointe North versus Livonia United. It's the Michigan Girls High School Hockey League playoffs. Live on Arbor Broadcasting, live and on demand. You even watch some of last year's playoffs if you want to. We have them out there. Livonia United gathered around their goal to the left. Grosse Pointe North around their coaching staff on the bench. As skating down to the right is Flem. Getting ready to go there, and Ferris down to our left. Grosse Pointe North going from right to left, Livonia United left to right. As we're about to get underway, second game in this rink today, 3 in the other rink. As the final fifth game for today should get going in about 19 minutes or so. Puck back into Livonia United zone, trying to get it out of the zone is Howell. That all the way back deep. Phillips chasing it back into her own zone. Phillips back behind her own goal. Phillips now goes from the far side to the near side. Phillips moves it ahead to Bernie. Bernie getting it into the neutral zone. Picked up by Howell there. Howell coming down the far boards. Howell gains his own. Howell top of the far circle. Shot there. Knocked away by Flam. That puck into the far corner. Fed around the boards back over there by Cleveland. Picked up, trying to knock it away. Bernie had it. Now puck in along the far boards, brought ahead by Phillips. That'll go all the way down into the Livonia United end. That will be icing. That'll head right back into the Grosse Pointe North zone. 14-12 left to go here in the first. Face off in the far face off circle. That's going to be to Flam's right. Is in to take the face off. Martin on one side. Believe as that puck sent around as that was Hammond on the other side racing in. Here comes Grosse Pointe North as Villani has it back behind the goal, coming in along the near boards, trying to pull it away. Villani right back behind the goal. That fired out top of the near circle. Cleveland trying to get to it, and right at the blue line now, racing ahead with it. Coming in as that's fired back deep by Hammond into the near corner of the Grosse Pointe zone. Cleveland has it back behind, fires it in along the far boards, trying to chip it out is Villani. Villani trying to get it out of the zone. That slips all the way back to the blue line. Picked up there by Austin. Austin, top of the far circle for Livonia United. Now that tipped away. Grosse Pointe North trying to bring it in as that's Villani with it. Back in along the near boards. Kasuba trying to fire it back deep. That on the near circle. Chip back to the near point. Martin has it. Martin on the far circle. Martin, wide angle shot. That covered up and grabbed by Ferris. 13-15 left to go here in the first. Scoreless so far between these two teams. Face-off will be in the near face-off circle. That to Ferris is right. Again, winners of this game get to play the Mid-Michigan Alliance, 2 o'clock. I believe that's 2 o'clock on Saturday. Indeed, it is March 1st. Puck right at the near circle. Still there, Livonia United gets it to the blue line, holding it in as that's moved across by Thomas. That puck right back behind the Livonia United goal. Battle for it in along the end boards, trying to pull it away back over there. Into the far corner now. That comes back to the near point. Cleveland trying to hold it in. That brought ahead, chipped the other direction by Thomas. Trying to bring it in over there was Bernie. That puck outside the near circle. And fired by Austin all the way back into the Grosse Pointe North end. Thomas chases it right back behind the Grosse Pointe North goal. Thomas trying to move it around the near boards, working to get it over to Bernie. Bernie over on blue line. Bernie cross-ice pass over to Kasuba. Kasuba gains his own. Kasuba trying to fire it out in front. That into the near corner with it. Firing it ahead. Grosse Pointe North trying to keep it in. That slips back into their own zone. Racing back. Thomas trying to pick it up back behind her own goal. Shipley providing pressure. At ricocheted off the far board, trying to bring it ahead is Shanley. Puck right back in. Grosse Pointe North. Thomas fires it right off of the lineman and pulled along. Here comes Cuter. Cuter coming down the near boards. Cuter, leading scorer for Grosse Pointe North. Puck Right in along the near boards of the neutral zone. Cuter trying to gain the zone. Cuter outside the near circle. And puck lifted right back in along the near boards. Thomas firing it all the way across. Hammond trying to pick it up. That chipped right back into the Livonia United end. Racing over to get it is Stevens. The puck right back behind into the slot. Comes all the way in along the near boards. Gathered up there trying to fire it back deep is Martin. Puck into the near corner. Martin with it. Martin in underneath the near circle. Martin trying to get through traffic and along the end boards. Martin from the near side to the far side. Martin, there's a wide angle shot. And knocked away by Ferris. Puck comes in along the near boards outside the near circle. Thomas has it there. Thomas into the near corner. Trying to pull that around is Roberts. Puck all the way out to the far point. And fired right back in deep. Put over there. Right back behind the goal. Now comes outside the far circle. Chipped away loose. Trying to fire it ahead as that's lifted all the way out by Henderson and put right back into the near corner. Gathered up as a delayed offsides, fired all the way back deep. That's going to be icing. And I'll head back into Livonia United end. 10:51 left to go here in the first. Scoreless so far between these two teams. It's 5 games on this opening night. We'll have 8 games on Saturday. 4 games the next Wednesday, and then the final 2 games the Saturday after next. In taking the face-off is Cuter. Trying to see on the other side. Can't quite catch that. That puck back underneath is bringing it around is Larson. Larson feeds it along the far boards. And right to the Livonia blue line. Now controlled there by Cuter. Cuter spinning at her own blue line over center. Cuter trying to weave through traffic. Puck gets away for Berger. Gets it back. Cuter on the far circle. Shot there. All the way outside the near circle. Trying to feed that ahead. That pulled ahead by Shipley. Puck right back behind. Is trying to pull that away as Kasuba. Puck outside the far circle. Now bringing it ahead. Hassan. Puck right back behind Livonia United goal. Outside the near circle. Trying to feed it ahead as that is Howell with it. Howell makes a move at center ice. Howell coming down the far boards. Howell outside the far circle trying to get a centering pass that into the near corner. Shipley trying to get to it. Now that pull rocketed down the near boards. Fed ahead by Phillips. Right at center ice down the near boards. Cuter trying to get to it. That's sent right back to the Grosse Pointe blue line. Trying to feed it ahead is Cleland. Now grabbed the other direction. Fired back deep by Conte. Puck into the near corner. Cleveland has it there, going back behind her own goal into the far corner. And tipped, pulled ahead by Kasuba. Now over the blue line, racing down and along the near boards is Bernie. Bernie for Grosse Pointe North. Shot from outside the near circle. That goes all the way around outside the far circle with it. Howell with it over there. Brought down, chipped in, held in. Now outside the far circle with it. That's Villani with it all the way outside the near circle as that rimmed around. Fired, skittering all the way back into the Grosse Pointe North zone. That'll be icing. 9:11 left to go here in the first. Puck will go all the way back into Livonia United end. Face off in the near face off circle. That to Ferris's right. Looks like that's going to be Stevens in to take the face off for Livonia United. Martin on the other side. Puck into the slot, tipped as that goes right outside the near circle. Battleford in the near corner. Villani trying to pull that away. Puck right back behind the Livonia United goal. Now in along the far boards. Back to the far point, held in there by Thomas. Thomas puts it into the far corner. Into the slot, shot there. As somehow that didn't go in, as that was Martin with a shot from the slot. And now fired all the way back. Cleveland has it in her own zone. Pressure coming from behind by Manasala. Puck down the near boards with it. Tipped. And it'll be sent right back out to center. Racing the other direction is Hammond. Hammond fires it deep into the Grosse Pointe zone. 8:33 left to go in a scoreless game so far. Down the near boards. Thomas gets it. That fired all the way back deep. Icing waved off. Racing back over to get it is Henderson. Henderson back behind her own goal. Henderson coming down the far boards of the Livonia United end. Held in back over there by Villani. Villani at the far point. Now here comes Livonia United. Racing ahead with it. Manasala gains the zone. Top of the far circle. Shot there. Saved by Flom. 8:06 left to go here in the first. Scoreless so far between these two squads. Face-off will be in the Grosse Pointe zone in the far face-off circle. Conte in to take the face-off. Cuter on the other side. That is the Flom's right. Little Mr. Brightside playing here, gets everyone fired up. Puck top of the far circle, coming down the far boards. That's fired all the way back, racing back to get it is Roberts. That'll go just to the far side of the goal. Roberts underneath the near circle, trying to move it. Shipley picks it up there, trying to chip it out of the zone. Puck right at the near point, now back in along the neutral zone. Villani has it at her own blue line, fires it all the way across, lifted ahead by Phillips. Puck right in front of the scorer's bench, now back to Livonia United blue line. Down the near boards, trying to fire it ahead. That pull back, lifted ahead by Shipley, now brought back right to the Livonia United blue line. Knocked down, trying to get to it. Phillips in along the far boards. And puck outside the far circle. Villani takes it right in front of her own goal. Villani fires it over to Cuter. Cuter bringing it ahead. Cuter, high slot. Cuter over onto the far circle. Drop pass into the slot. Knocked away, loose. Onto the near circle. There's a shot and a save by Ferris. As another blast from right in the slot by Bernie. 7:11 left to go here in the first. 0-0 is the score. Face off in the near face off circle. That to Ferris's right. Cuter in to take the face off. On the other side is Stevens. And puck, top of the near circle, bouncing puck in the slot, fired to the blue line, but held in by Phillips. Puts it right back behind the Livonia United goal, in along the near boards. Cuter trying to send it the other direction, tipped back. Now onto the near circle, Cuter with a shot. That deflects all the way outside the far circle. Hammond gets it back into the neutral zone. Now it's a race. Mansala gains the zone. Mansala outside the far circle, battle with Cleveland there. Cleveland back behind her own goal, chipped right back behind by Flom. Now that puck outside the far circle. David trying to get it out of the zone. Grabbed at the blue line, held in there by Mansala. Mansala's shot and a goal. Mansala puts it in from the high slot at 6:32. And that is a goal by Livonia United. At 6:32. Here in the first, goal by Livonia United. They get on the board first. As let's update the scoreboard here. There we go. 1-0 Livonia United with the lead. 6:32 left to go. Puck in along the near boards. Firing it ahead is Cleveland. Top of the near circle, that bouncing puck in along the far boards, racing back to get it is Roberts. Roberts back behind her own goal. That puck coming down the far boards, held in at the far point. There's a shot back over there by Phillips. Puck in along into the near corner. Shipley racing, trying to get it out of the zone. That puck all the way back on edge. That'll roll down, stopped by Flom, now picked up in along the far boards, fed ahead by Phillips. That'll go all the way back to Livonia blue line. Trying to fire that ahead was Larson. Gathered up, here comes Livonia United down the near boards, bringing it in is Knapp. Tipped right back into the near corner, trying to feed it around. As Bernie gets it out of the zone down the near boards, trying to feed it ahead to the Villani, that right back in. Thomas has it in her own zone in the Grosse Pointe north end. Fired in along the far boards. And chipped. Cleveland trying to get it out of the zone. That held in. Goes right back into the near corner of the Grosse Pointe north end. Thomas down the near boards. Fired into the neutral zone. Collected there by Austin, who banks it off the far board right back into the Grosse Pointe north end. Thomas bringing it ahead. Net knuckleballs and brought back. No offside there. Thomas brings it down the near board. Bernie looking to get to it. Austin fires it right back down the near boards. Cuter trying to shove it ahead. Cuter onto the near circle of her own zone, trying to avoid pressure back over there by Stevens. Cuter weaving through traffic. Cuter, top of the far circle coming in. Cuter's shot. There's a save by Ferris. Puck into the near corner. Trying to pull that away is Bernie. Still digging into the near corner. Bernie. And puck just wide. Cuter trying to fire it out in front. That comes all the way back. Down the far boards. Rolls on edge. And skitters over the goal line. That will be icing. 4:37 left to go here in the first. 1-0. Livonia United with the lead. Face-off is going to be in the far face-off circle. That is going to be to Ferris's left. Martin in to take the face-off. On the other side with Stevens, puck into the far corner. Trying to get it all the way across was Kasuba. Puck outside the near circle now. Thomas trying to drive it deep. That lifted all the way back into the neutral zone. Racing ahead to get it. Now pulled down the near boards. Bringing ahead is Phillips. Knocked down. Kasuba trying to drive it back deep. Austin chases it back behind her own goal. Austin gathers it in around the end boards. Austin puts it down the near boards. And to pick it up back over there is Mansala, who had the opening goal. Trying to bring it back. Villani. Or excuse me, that's Phillips back behind the goal. Now loose and fired in, and it's a goal! Grosse Pointe North ties the game up at 3:57. As that looks like it was Villani with that goal. So Villani ties the game up here in the first. That at 3:57, and it's 1-1 between these two squads, both with some fantastic offense and defense starting off this game. We're all tied up 1 apiece here in the first. Face off back to the blue line. Roberts in along the far boards. Now Livonia United trying to lift it back to the Grosse Pointe blue line. Ricocheted off, coming ahead with it. Coming in is Bernie. Top on the near circle. Shot goes in along the far boards. Trying to lift it ahead. Livonia United trying to poke it back into the neutral zone. Racing ahead with it is Shipley. Shipley moves it over Shipley. Top of the near circle. That fired outside the near circle. Thomas trying to get it out of the zone. Loose. Bouncing puck. Top of the near circle. Thomas ricochets it off the near board. Now lifted head to Bernie. Bernie that slides all the way across the ice. Brought right back in. Trying to fire it back deep as that puck into the far corner. Cuter has it there. Cuter trying to get through traffic. Held in. There's a shot back over there by Conte. Puck outside the near circle. And that lifted ahead by Bernie. Roberts has it at her own blue line, trying to chip it ahead. Cuter brings it in now back into the neutral zone. Thomas slides it ahead. Cuter trying to get it away from Conte. That tipped away at the blue line. Grabbed, firing it is Kasuba. Puck into the near corner with it. Roberts chases it back behind her own goal. Kasuba chips it. So that comes all the way back to Thomas outside the near circle. Centering attempt knocked away. Livonia United chips it into the neutral zone. Picking it up is Shipley. Shipley gains his own. Shipley 2-on-1. Moves it all the way across. Top of the far circle shot. That's steered by Flom into the far corner. Centering attempt again. Kasuba has it on the near circle and slides it ahead. Cuter coming down the near boards over center ice. Cuter trying to gain the zone. Cuter top of the far circle. Moves it into the slot. Shot there as a save by Ferris. Bernie with a blast from the slot. That puck back into the neutral zone. All the way back into the Grosse Pointe North end. That'll be icing. 2:09 left to go here in the first. 1-1 is our score. Face off in the near face off circle again. These two teams trying to advance to play 2 o'clock on Saturday versus the Mid-Michigan Alliance. Face off back over there. Stevens taking the face off into the slot. Now pulled coming down the far boards. Racing back is Howell, moves it down the far boards. That lifted, chipped. Mansala coming in. That lifted right back in along the near boards of the neutral zone. Cuter trying to bring it ahead. Cuter gains the zone. Cuter has that chipped away. Good defense. Howell coming the other direction. 3-on-2. Howell with a shot that deflects into the near corner. Mansala trying to bring it right back behind the Grosse Pointe North goal. Mansala onto the far circle. That knocked away. Gathered up in along the near boards as Martin trying to peel it out of the zone. Right back as Howell fires it right back into the Grosse Pointe North end. Cleveland in along the far boards. Cleveland outside the far circle. Intercepted by Mansala on that far circle. Poke checked away. Picking it up. Backhanded shot. That knocked all the way back to the blue line. Now gathering it ahead, racing. Here comes Villani. Villani, who had the lone Grosse Pointe North goal, back over to Cuter. Cuter trying to sneak in front. Shot there. Knocked away. Puck underneath the far circle with it. Now Livonia United bringing it down the far board as that is launched ahead over there. I believe that was Martin with it. That's going to be icing. 59.4 seconds left to go in a fast-moving first period. Face off right back into Livonia zone. 1-1 is our score. Appreciate you joining us and watching here. In to take the face off, Martin on one side. On the other side is Hassan coming ahead with it. That puck all the way back into the far corner. Sent in along the boards, trying to get it back over to Bernie. Bernie loses an edge, but moves it back right to center. Picked up by Henderson. Henderson moves it down the far boards. That goes into the far corner. Icing as that was fired from the wrong side of center ice. 37.5 seconds left to go. That goes right back into the Livonia United end. That's going to be to Ferris's left. Knapp in to take the faceoff versus Martin in that far faceoff circle. The puck loose into the far corner, gathered up by Austin. Austin back behind her own goal from the near far side of the near side. Battle into the near corner with Bernie. Bernie trying to dig it out of there, comes to the near point. Now all the way back into the Grosse Pointe end. 23 seconds left to go. Thomas has it in along the end boards, trying to avoid pressure by Shipley. Thomas into the far corner, sliding it ahead. That pulled back down by Hassan. Loose outside the far circle as that slips back into the neutral zone. Austin has it right at her own blue line. Austin. And move it over, ricochets it off the near board. Now picking up Shipley, gains his own. Shipley moves it over. There's a shot by Knapp, blocker save, and that will do it. At the end of the first, it is 1-1. As we'll have a short break between these two teams. As taking a look, clean period, no penalties in that period. It was a goal by Mansala for Livonia United at 6:32 to take the lead. Then storming back, Villani scored at 3:57 for Grosse Pointe North, and that's where we are at, 1-1. The ice will be resurfaced after between the second and third period, as both squads talking to their coaching staff. Even game so far. Switch ends. Grosse Pointe North will be going left to right. Livonia United going right to left. Here in the second period. I need to advance that on the scoreboard as well. Hey, Detroit got an opening goal versus the Columbus Blue Jackets. As that at Little Caesars Arena. So, of course, Red Wings trying to keep their streak going after change in the coaching staff. They've been playing a lot better. Both the Pistons and the Red Wings. You gotta love that when the local teams, the Lions had a great season. Tigers trying to cook up. This is, we're back to April and D. Love it around here. Plus, we have the Michigan Girls High School Hockey League playoffs. What more could you ask for a fantastic time for sports in this area? MHSAA men's hockey playoffs going on as well. A lot of fantastic hockey in this area. We are very proud to be able to bring just a little bit of it to you. Is Cuter in to take the faceoff at center versus Stevens. That puck pulled ahead by Cuter. Cuter gains his own. Cuter trying to get a shot away. Ferris with the save. That was a wrister with the defender right in the way. Ferris with a fantastic job. And it's 14:53 left to go here in the second. 1-1 is the score. Face-off, Cuter in the near face-off circle versus Stevens. Comes back. Phillips with the blast that just goes wide. Puck deflects onto the far circle. Gathering it up there, trying to feed it ahead. Mansala trying to pull it in. Mansala, top of the far circle. Mansala with the shot. And saved by Flan. Face-off will be in the far face-off circle. Flan's left. Cuter in to take the face-off. Stevens again on the other side. They've been battling in the face-off circle. Puck into the far corner. Cuter pulls it back behind her own goal. In along the near boards. Trying to feed it ahead. Puck outside the near circle. Held in there. Sent all the way across by Livonia United. Now Mansala trying to put it right back the other direction. Into the near corner. Trying to pull it ahead. Stevens loose out in front. Svandry able to knock it away. Opportunity for Livonia United as they did score first. And Bernie trying to move it ahead. Here comes Cuter weaving through traffic. Cuter into the slot. Cuter onto the far circle, trying to get a backhanded shot away right out in front. Tipped back by Ferrison along the end boards. Collision back over there. Puck comes outside the far circle. Brought ahead. Here comes Livonia United trying to feed it head back over there. Was Monsala that comes all the way right back into the Grosse Pointe North zone. Bringing it ahead. Here comes Phillips. Phillips gains his own. Phillips. And shot. Oh, just slides all the way through right to Ferris. Ferris able to cover it up with 13:43 left to go here in the second. 1-1 is our score. Face off in the near face off circle. That to Ferris's left. Martin in to take the face off. That puck comes all the way around into the far corner with it. I believe that was Knapp taking the face off, pulled back away. Now trying to weave through traffic is Villani. Top of the blue line, drop pass over to Phillips. Phillips outside the near circle. Phillips in along the goal line, into the near corner. Phillips trying to bring it back, battling a pair of defenders. Trying to bring it out. Bernie trying to hold it in right at the near point. Now Villani trying to go. That knocked back into the neutral zone. Thomas with it. Thomas has it at her own blue line. Thomas trying to feed it ahead. That knocked away. Stevens had it back behind. That puck in along the near boards. Bernie trying to pick it up. Now over center ice. Bernie. Drop pass over. Villani brings it into the zone. Villani outside the near circle. And pulled away. Trying to move it back is Conte. Now down the far boards. All the way back into the Grosse Pointe zone. That is going to be icing. Now come back into the Livonia United zone. That'll be to Ferris's right in the far face-off circle. Stevens and Cuter again battling in that far face-off circle. Puck all the way back to the far point, held in, loose, and now that lifted all the way back into the neutral zone. It's a foot race, trying to get to it and come in, spinning, as there's a shot by Hammond that just goes wide. Puck in along the far boards, chipped high into the slot, pulled away, as that's moved ahead by Kasuba. Now in along the near board. Steven trying to get to it. Cuter drops it back to her own blue line. Fed ahead by Thomas. Now racing in. Kasuba trying to get to it into the near corner. Larson pulls it back behind her own goal. Larson down the far boards. Larson trying to get out into the neutral zone over center ice. Larson gains the zone. Top of the far circle. Trying to get a shot away. Stick lifted. Puck into the far corner. Cuter bringing it ahead. Cuter trying to get back past the defense. Cuter racing over center ice. Cuter trying to split the defense. Cuter onto the near circle. Cuter backhanded shot. Good job by Ferris to knock it away. There's a shot from the slot. Ferris another save. Another shot poked away by Ferris. All the way down as that's fired, skittering into the Grosse Pointe North zone. That'll be on net, so no icing there. Puck in along the near boards. A flurry of attack by Grosse Pointe North, and Ferris able to keep it out of the goal. There's a chip. Monsala trying to get it. That goes right back behind the goal. Thomas feeds it all the way around the boards. Held in at that far point by Livonia United. Now lifted over. Here comes Bernie. Bernie down the near boards. Bernie skates down the blue line as just barely avoiding a delayed offside. Puck into the near corner. Picked up by Larson there. Larson goes back behind her own goal. Larson feeds it down the far board as Villani trying to hold it in. That lifted all the way back deep into the Grosse Pointe zone. Thomas trying to get to it, but that'll be icing and bring it right back into Livonia United's end. 10:59 left to go here in the second. 1-1 is our score. We're very grateful for you watching wherever you are at. Thank you very, very much for supporting these amazing teams in this fantastic sport of women's hockey. Speaking of women's hockey, there is a PWHL game coming up March 16th at Little Caesars Arena. Hope to see you there. Love to prove that Detroit deserves a franchise. Held in by Phillips. Love to show all the young women in this state that there is a higher level that they can get to. Picked up top of the near circle. Outside the near circle now, trying to drive it back deep is Martin. That puck into the slot. Now pulled back into the neutral zone. Racing over. Cleveland trying to get to it. Puck in along the far boards. Now brought ahead as that was fired all the way back deep. That was by Shipley. Puck into the far corner of the Grosse Pointe North end. And it comes all the way in along the near boards Racing ahead with it, trying to get to it is Villani. Villani into the near corner as she gets tied up back over there with Henderson. As Henderson very slow to get up. Henderson still on the ice as they blow it dead. Henderson, we hope she's all right. As they got tied up, Henderson went down. I think she slid into the boards. Hopefully it was skates first. You never want to see any of these players go head first into the board. As Henderson is up skating to the bench. We love to see everyone play their guts up, but we don't want to see any of these amazing athletes injured. So keep our fingers crossed Henderson will be all right. Face off in the far face-off circle, as that is going to be to Ferris's right. Cuter again in there versus Stevens. Puck, top of the far circle. Livonia United with the face-off win, racing ahead with it. Over center ice. Mansala trying to move it over. Is that brought right back into the neutral zone? Cuter trying to get it to center ice. Pulled back by Villani. Now lifted the other direction. Here comes Howe. Howe gains his own for Livonia United. There's a shot that whizzes into the right back into the far corner. Covered up by Flan. 9:42 left to go here in the second. 1-1 is our score. Face-off in the near face-off circle. Stevens in to take the face-off. See if it is indeed Cuter on the other side. Is that puck, top of the near circle, now bringing ahead. Here comes Cuter. Cuter make her way over center ice. Cuter gains his own. Cuter into the slot, poked away. As really good job back over there. As that was Hammond who knocked it away. Now bringing ahead. Here comes Stevens. Stevens down the near board. Stevens gains his own, top of the near circle. That shot sticked in along the end boards. Stevens into the near corner. Pulled ahead by Grosse Pointe North, trying to get to Bernie. Bernie lifts it over to Cuter. Cuter coming down, trying to get away from Howe. Howe and Bernie collide in along the near boards. Now Larson collides over here with Bernie. And puck all the way back to the blue line. Mansala trying to get it away. Thomas waits for everyone to get back on side. Gains the zone. Feeds it all the way around on net, and Ferris covers it up. 8:55 left to go here in the second. 1-1 is our score. Face-off will be in the far face-off circle. That to Ferris's right. Martin in to take the face-off. On the other side is Hassan. That puck back to the far point. Into the near corner it goes. Trying to bring it around is Bernie. Bernie outside the near circle. Now that lifted all the way back to the blue line. Thomas for Grosse Pointe North bringing it ahead. Banks it off the far boards. Collected there. Now into the far corner. Trying to work it ahead into the slot that skips all the way past. In along the near boards. Howell trying to get it out of the zone. That right back into the near corner. Bernie races outside the near circle. Conte with it, trying to lift it out of the zone. Held in by Phillips at the near point. Phillips moves it into the near corner. Racing back over to get it is Hassan. Hassan back behind the goal, coming down the far boards. Hassan trying to weave her way through traffic. Hassan over center ice. Hassan firing that back deep, steered away by Flan. Into the near corner, now lifted by Bernie. That'll go all the way down the near boards. Austin has it outside the near circle of her own zone. Under 8 minutes left to go. In the second, Austin outside the far circle chips that. That deflected into the neutral zone. Right at center ice, Thomas moves it back. Now Phillips down the far board. Racing over, trying to get to it is Martin. Martin gains his own. Martin outside the far circle for Grosse Pointe North. Martin back behind Livonia United goal, trying to fire it out in front. As no one could grab that in the slot, tipped back away. Battle for it into the far corner. It's Kasuba trying to get to it. And tipped right off the near side of the goal. Thomas trying to hold it in as Conte trying to knock that away. Puck into the far corner outside the far circle. Martin with it back over there. Looks like a penalty upcoming. Delayed penalty to Livonia United. They're looking to touch the puck to get this stop. Puck right out in front. Now Conte has it. That will stop the... that will bring up the whistle. 7:10 left to go here in the second. See if we can catch what it is as hooking the call here in the second. First penalty of the game at 7:10, hooking the call. As into the box is Henderson. I'm glad to see she's all right. I'm sure she doesn't want to be sitting in the box. Bernie has it at the near point. Bernie moves it outside the near circle to Cuter. Cuter takes it top of the near circle, spins around. Cuter outside the near circle now. Cuter trying to get into the slot. Cuter tips it ahead. That pulled away. Racing the other direction with it. Here comes Howe. Howe coming down the far boards. Howe has that tipped away. Pulled back, coming around with it is Kasuba. Kasuba down the near boards. Kasuba gets it over. That fired across, trying to feed Villani as Phillips top of the far circle into the far corner. Back to Phillips at the far point. Loose onto the far circle. Now that blasted all the way down by Howe. Stopped by Flynn. 1 minute and 15 seconds left to go in the power play for Grosse Pointe North. Racing ahead with, here comes Bernie. Bernie gains his own. Bernie, top of the far circle. Bernie trying to move it across. That grabbed. Coming over along the near boards is Villani. Into the slot, moving it over for Cuter. Cuter, drop pass to Bernie. Bernie moves out to the far circle. There's a blast as that's covered up by Ferris. As Villani with a rocket shot from the far circle. Ferris able to get it covered up. 55 seconds left to go here in the second, in the power play in the second. 6:04 left to go in the second period. So Grosse Pointe North, 5-on-4 for 55 more seconds. Tied 1-1 on the big board. Cuter in to take the face-off. As that's pulled back. Hassan was on the other side of the face-off circle. Now Cuter, top of the far circle. Cuter coming, firing it off the side of the net. Ferris with the save. 42 seconds left to go in the power play for Grosse Pointe North. 5:51 left to go here in the second. Knotted up one apiece. Again, that'll be Hassan and Cuter taking the face-off. Puck, top of the far circle for Bernie. Now Cuter puts it into the far corner, back in along the end boards. Villani moves it back, top of the far circle. Cuter trying to make her way as she spins around, moves it onto the near circle for Phillips. Phillips with the shot. Saved by Ferris. 21 seconds left to go in the Grosse Pointe North power play. That brought ahead. Racing, here comes, racing in with it. Here comes Mansala. Mansala in along the end boards. Gathered up. Heading the other direction with it is Bernie. Bernie over the blue line. Bernie feeds it down over to Cuter. Cuter gains the zone, top of the near circle. Drop pass into the slot. Shot there. Ferris with the save. Loose in along the near boards. Villani sends it back. Penalty has expired. Livonia back to full strength as Howell trying to bring it out of the zone. Howell over on blue line. Howell coming down the far boards over center. That fired back into the near corner with it. Racing over, collision in the near corner of the Grosse Pointe North zone. Trying to pull that away. Now Bernie coming down the far boards all the way across. Trying to get it. Cuter at the near point. Cuter. High slot. Now Cuter has that poked away by Stevens. Holds it in though. Cuter puts it into the near corner. 4:30 left to go. Trying to dig it away out of there. Kasuba battling with Austin. Puck comes all the way back right at the blue line. Now working ahead with it. Here comes Stevens. Stevens puts it back deep. That goes just to the wide side. Picking it up, trying to fire it ahead is Bernie. Cuter, top of the far circle. Cuter over on blue line. Cuter coming ahead over center ice, trying to steal that away. Excellent attempt back there by Conte. Puck all the way into the far corner of Livonia zone. Kasuba is trying to pull that in. Kasuba with it. Puck comes outside the near circle. Larson goes back behind her own goal from the near side to the far side. 3:50 left to go. Here in the second, puck back to the blue line for Grosse Pointe North. Cuter trying to get around all the play. Cuter coming in. Cuter into the slot. Backhanded shot. Good job to poke it away by Howe. Puck underneath the near circle. That fired right into the slot. Bouncing puck wouldn't settle down. Picked up coming down the far board with it is Shipley. Right back underneath. That fired all the way down the ice. Gathered up right at the blue line. Trying to feed it ahead was Bernie down those far boards. Puck right at the blue line. Shipley has it for Livonia United. Shipley coming down the far boards, trying to avoid pressure by Martin. Shipley gains his own. Shipley outside the far circle. Shipley firing it. Flan knocking it away. That to the blue line. Holding in there. Larson. Larson sweeps it into the near corner. Trying to feed it ahead was Shipley. That comes all the way top of the far circle. Thomas with it there. Thomas gets it back into the neutral zone. Lifted back in along the near boards is Villani trying to move it into the neutral zone. Now Bernie trying to get it over. Bernie gains his own. Bernie high slot. Bernie with a shot. Ferris with a save. 2:36 left to go here in the second. 1-1 is our score. Both goals happened in the first as Livonia United scored at 6:32 in the first from Mansala. And then at 3:57, Grosse Pointe North tied it up as that was Villani with the goal. Back and forth game it has been in the second, but no one's been able to score. Face-off in the near face-off circle. Villani taking the face-off. That pull back into the neutral zone. Thomas trying to knock it away. Here comes Mansala. Mansala back behind alone. Mansala with a shot. As that's a goal. Mansala with her second goal of the game. As she broke away past the defense and fired it in. Mansala puts Livonia United in the lead at 2:24 on a breakaway. Just as I said, all the scoring had been in the first. 24 left to go here in the second. 2-1 Livonia United with the lead. Face off right at center ice. Well, it was the home team that lost the first game in this rink, Washington United, as they fell to Bloomfield Birmingham. Cuter back behind the goal. But we have a lot more hockey left as Cuter gets ahead of steam. She ends up down on the ice as that puck in along the far boards. Trying to tip it away as that puck into the far corner and Flan able to cover it up. 2 minutes left to go here in the second. 2-1 Livonia United with the lead. Face-off will be to Flan's left in the far face-off circle. Stevens to take the face-off. Cuter comes right back out. Thomas will take a seat. So they'll quickly bring in Martin. So Martin will take the face-off versus Stevens. Now they'll have Martin leave the face-off circle. Cuter will come in. And puck into the far corner. Now in along the near boards of the neutral zone, racing ahead, trying to get to it. Phillips, she ends up down on the ice. Martin into the near corner. Martin trying to avoid Shipley. Shipley back behind her own goal from the near side to the far side. Shipley fires it down the far boards. Cleveland trying to get to it, but couldn't quite keep it into the zone. And back over to Cuter. Cuter, oh, that deflected right off of Conte. Conte top of the near circle. Now Stevens trying to get to it. Puck top in near circle. Now back behind as that's swept around. Shipley trying to get to it now. Puck outside the near circle. Trying to fire it away. Phillips back into Livonia United zone. Into the far corner. Howell with it there. 1:14 left to go here in the second. Livonia United with the 2-1 lead. As that puck loose right at center. Trying to feed it ahead. Here comes a race ahead with it is Cleveland. Cleveland gains his own Cleveland. Shot that goes right back behind Livonia United net. 57 seconds left to go here in the second. And puck underneath the near circle. Right out in front. There's a shot. Point blank shot. Ferris able to save that. As what was that? Kasuba, I think, right out in front. Point blank shot. And Ferris, great save. 50.5 seconds left to go here in the second. Livonia United 2-1 with the lead. Face off is going to be to Ferris's left in the near face off circle. As Villani in to take the face-off. Is that Knapp on the other side? I believe it is. Yep. So they'll drop the puck. Loose on the near circle into the near corner. Villani trying to get it back to the near point to Cuter. Cuter trying to fire it. That deflects in along the far boards. Mansala trying to get to it. That into the slot. Puck wouldn't settle down. Bernie was sitting right there. 36 seconds left to go. As all the way across, racing over, trying to keep it in is Thomas. Thomas puts it into the far corner. Kasuba racing over to get it. Now Bernie backhands it. Puck into the near corner. Trying to pull that away as at Henderson trying to get to it. Now racing ahead with it. Coming in, Hammond with it. Hammond onto the far circle. That puck into the near corner. 12 seconds left to go here in the second. A puck down in along the near boards, trying to get to a cuter. That tipped away. Monsala coming the other direction. Monsala looking for the hat trick. Monsala onto the near circle. Backhanded shot just goes wide. That will do it for the second. At the end of two, Livonia United with a 2-1 lead. As they'll resurface the ice, we'll take a little break. Again, you're watching the Michigan Girls High School Hockey League playoffs, brought to you by Arbor Broadcasting. are live here from the Arctic edge of Canton, where it is the Michigan Girls High School Hockey League playoffs. Here at the start of the third, it is Livonia United 2 and Grosse Pointe North 1. 15 minutes up on the clock. As skating down to the right is Flam. Ferris will skate down over to the left. Cuter in to take the face off. Bernie to the left. Villani to the right. Phillips as well as Cleveland are the defenders. Now Ferris goes down over to the left. Grosse Pointe North going from right to left in this third period. Livonia United going left to right. As face-off, Cuter wins coming down the far boards. Cuter gains the zone. Cuter fires it all the way around into the near corner. Trying to peel it out of there. There's a Hammond sent right back onto the near circle, now into the near corner. Cuter trying to get to it. Is that puck? Right back behind the goal, now in along the near boards. Hammond trying to get it out of the zone. Puck top of the near circle. Cleveland with it. Backhanded shot. Knocked away. Good defense back over there as Roberts fires it all the way down the ice. That'll slide into the Grosse Pointe North zone. That'll be picked up in along the near boards. Bringing it ahead is Cleveland. Cleveland going ahead to Bernie. Bernie gained the zone. Bernie outside the near circle. Bernie into the near corner. That tipped right back behind Ferris into the far corner. Lifting it, bringing ahead is Roberts. Roberts over center ice. Roberts down the far boards. Roberts gains the zone outside the far circle. Roberts into the far corner. Trying to feed it out in front. Big collision as bodies hitting the boards. That puck into the far corner. Trying to chip it right back. As that'll be picked up top of the near circle. Now racing ahead with it. Here comes Phillips. Phillips gains his own. Phillips outside the near circle. Phillips drops it back. That's shot by Bernie. And it goes all the way outside the far circle. Gathered up there by contact. Now trying to bring it ahead. Cuter steals it. Cuter gains it right back into the Livonia United zone. Cuter with a shot that just goes wide to the far side. Puck. Phillips trying to fire it in. That goes into the near corner. As Cuter has it, top of the near circle. That slips back into the neutral zone. Grosse Pointe North will have to touch up. As Cuter down the far boards. Intercepted, trying to fire it the other direction is Hammond. That ricochets off the near board. Bernie brings it right back in. Bernie with a shot. Ferris with the save. And puck comes back out. Cleveland trying to get to it onto the near circle. Ricocheted there is that puck. It's at the near point. Now Cuter retreats into the neutral zone. Hammond trying to fire it the other direction. Stevens fires it right back in deep into the Grosse Pointe North zone. 12:46 left to go here in the third. 2-1, Livonia United with the lead. As Hammond trying to fire it that off the side of the Grosse Pointe North net. All the way back. Austin holds it in at the blue line. Austin with a shot from the blue line. That deflected out in front. Puck loose onto the near circle. Now pulling it ahead. Here comes Martin. Martin down the near boards. That goes all the way back deep. As Austin going to pick it up. That tipped in along the near boards. Right back into the neutral zone. Thomas trying to gain the Livonia zone. That's loose. Stevens trying to poke it away. Now that brought in as Kasuba has it. Back and lifted right to the blue line. Collected by Bernie. Bernie backhands it. Austin in along the end boards. Martin pulls it back behind into the far corner. Martin outside the far circle. Martin battling with Austin there. Now that pulled ahead, chipped right back into the neutral zone. As that skipped past Phillips. Racing back to get it is Thomas outside the far circle. Thomas back behind her own goal. Thomas in along the near boards. Thomas right to the blue line. Now racing ahead with it. Here comes Martin. Martin making a move to gain the zone. Shipley knocks that away. Loose in the slot. Coming in. Martin grabs it. Top of the far circle. Martin trying to get this settled down. That poke checked away by Livonia United. Thomas right back into neutral ice. Thomas down the near boards. Tipped by Bernie. Bernie trying to bring it back in. Shipley chases now. Austin goes back behind her own goal. Austin moving it in along the far boards. Martin has it outside the far circle into the far corner. Martin trying to dig it out of that far corner. Battling back over there with Henderson. The puck right back behind. Henderson sweeps it to the far point. Held in back over there. A shot and a goal as Bernie puts it in. Grosse Pointe North with the goal at 11:02, and it's tied up 2-2. Make sure I got that right. No, it's Phillips. I thought Bernie tipped it out in front. but Phillips put it in from the far point at 11:04, and we are knotted up. As Grosse Pointe North is 3 minutes and 56 seconds into the period. They get it knotted up at 2 apiece. 2-2 our score. Puck in along the far boards. Gathered, moving it ahead, bringing it in Kasuba. Kasuba, top of the near circle. Kasuba with the shot. Glove saved by Ferris. 10:50 left to go here in the third. 2-2 is our score. Face-off in the near face-off circle. Again, Cuter in to take the face-off. On the other side is Knapp, that puck. In along the end boards. It was Phillips with the goal that pulled away, coming down the near boards. Racing ahead with it. Here comes Shipley. Shipley gains his own. Shipley moves it as offside the call. 10:33 left to go here as we're knotted up at 2 apiece. Face-off will be outside of the Grosse Pointe North zone in the far face-off circle. Stevens in to take the face-off. On the other side is Martin. As they drop the puck, that comes back. As moving it down the near boards, Roberts ricochets it off the near board. That's on the near circle. Pulled away by Phillips. Phillips trying to backhand it ahead. Roberts can't hold it in. That's sent in along the far boards. Racing over Henderson. Now brought back into the Livonia zone. Fired all the way down. Gathered up by Phillips at her own blue line. Gets it as that's tipped by Kasuba down the near boards. Trying to move it ahead is Stevens. Now picked up by Martin. Martin trying to get around Stevens and Mansala outside the near circle. And puck into the near corner with it. Trying to fire it as Ferris with a save. 9:53 left to go here in the third. 2-2 is our score. It's a back and forth game. No one's had more than a goal lead. Livonia United has had a 1-goal lead twice. Grosse Pointe North has been able to get it tied up both times. As Cuter trying to get that all the way in along the far boards. Thomas trying to hold it in at the far point. Colliding with Hammond there. Puck outside the far circle. Cuter comes back to the far point. Cuter trying to move it over. Picked up top of the far circle. Racing ahead with it is Howell. Howell trying to get around that loose right at the Grosse Pointe North blue line. All the way across as that's fired over by Villani. Now bringing it in is Cuter. Cuter. And back to the near point, trying to bring it ahead. Here comes Mansala. Mansala tipped into the near corner. Both goals for Livonia United, of course. Coming ahead with it is Bernie down the near boards. Bernie trying to reach it as Cuter has it. Cuter tipped away. Now Howell fires it off the far board. Thomas picks it up in the far corner. Thomas trying to bring it ahead. The far boards, and who ends up hitting one of the, is that a trainer on the bench that took that? You gotta be alert in the stands on the bench everywhere. It's flying pucks can get at you. Even with this big net, I've seen him find a way beyond that. 9 minutes left to go here in the third. 2-2 is our score. Face-off in the far face-off circle as that is. Trying to win it back over there. Conte as there's a shot. Moved away into the far corner by Flont. Now Phillips back behind her own goal. Phillips trying to move down the far boards. Picked up by Villani. Villani trying to get it past the far point, but that was held in by Howell. Howell makes a move. Howell, high slot. That tipped away. Shipley trying to get a shot away. That in along the near boards. As that was Phillips getting a stick in the way of Shipley. Back to the far point. Howell holds it in there. Puck wouldn't settle down. Howell gets it back. Fires it. That knocked down by Flan. And still loose, pulling it away. Bernie trying to bring it ahead. Bernie coming down the far boards. Bernie gets it back into the neutral zone. Bernie battling that against Knapp along the far boards. Now gathered up all the way across. Villani gets it over to Thomas. Thomas trying to slide it ahead. That is going to be just to the near side of the Livonia United goal. That'll head back into the Grosse Pointe North end. 8:08 left to go here in the third. 2-2 is our score. Face-off is going to be to Flan's left in the near face-off circle. Stevens in taking the face-off for Livonia United. And Cuter on the other side. And puck into the near corner. Cuter with it. Cuter goes back behind to the goal. Cuter coming down the far boards. Cuter over the blue line. Cuter over center ice. Cuter trying to race in. That poke checked away by Hammond. Right back into the neutral zone. Moved over to Cleveland. Cleveland down the near boards. That ricocheted over. Chasing it back is Austin. Austin in along the end boards. And down the far boards. And fired back to the far point. Held in there by Grosse Pointe North. Is Kasuba trying to get to it. Right back into the neutral zone. Backhanding it ahead as that was Hammond. Now down the near boards. Here comes Bernie. Bernie gains the Livonia United zone. Bernie trying to get around Austin. And puck back is Cleveland trying to hold it in at the near point. Back into the neutral zone. Now Phillips trying to get around Monsala to bring it in. That fired right back to center ice. Now Kasuba has it down the near boards. Kasuba right back into Livonia United end. That lifted back to center ice. Now Cleveland trying to bring it down the near board. That is going to be offside, the call. 7:07 left to go here in the third. 2-2 is our score. Well, the first game in this rink was Bloomfield Birmingham 4 and Washington United 2. I was out at saw the scores for the other two games from the other two rinks, but didn't write them down, so that's my bad. I'd love to tell you, but all these games should be on demand on ArborBroadcasting.com as well. Racing ahead with the Conte. That lifted right back over to Bernie. Bernie down the near boards of the neutral zone trying to get to Martin. That knocked down the far boards. Conte trying to lift it out of the zone. That's sent down. Here comes Cuter. Cuter right at center ice. Pulled away. Cleveland has it down the near boards. Cleveland just before center. That tipped over. Bernie with it. Trying to get it over to Martin. Loose down the near boards. Now fired back by Knapp. Is fired all the way back deep by Villani. That puck right back behind the goal. In along the far boards. Livonia United controls. Trying to get it ahead over to Shipley. Knocked down. Now held in by Bernie. That puck onto the far circle. Villani tried to get to it. Now Martin has it top of the near circle. Martin cross the ice pass. And that is going to be a save by Ferris. 6:16 left to go here in the third. Next goal is going to be huge by either of these two teams. Is that a high stick motion that the official made? The official talking to the Livonia United bench. Talking about things as there is a power play now for Grosse Pointe North, as that would be a high stick at 6:16. Is into the box for Livonia United, as that is going to be Roberts. So that puck back right to center. Racing ahead with it is Howell. Howell trying to get it back deep. Howell outside the near circle. Cuter trying to pull it away. Loose. That all the way down the far boards of the neutral zone. Shipley trying to chip it right back in. Now Cuter pulling it down the far board. Shipley poke checks that away. Martin moves it back over. Now here comes Phillips. Phillips gains his own. Phillips. Top of the near circle. Phillips. Outside the near circle. That lifted all the way down the ice. Flan stops it. Back over to get it is Bernie. 1 minute, 20 seconds left to go in the Grosse Pointe North power play. 5:33 left to go here in the third. 2-2 is our score. Villani bringing it up the near boards over center. Villani trying to make a move. That knocked away. Cuter brings it in, but offside the call. 1:07 left to go on the power play for Grosse Pointe North. 5:22 left to go here in the third. Both teams looking for a hero to get that next goal. Cuter in to take the face-off. Into the near face-off circle as that brought ahead. Down the near boards as Hammond fires it back deep. And picked up back behind by Bernie. Back behind her own goal coming in along the far boards. Now sent down the near boards to Villani. And ricochets ahead to Cuter. Villani trying to get it back. Trying to get it away from Hammond. Austin lifts it right back into the neutral zone. Here comes Bernie. Bernie all the way across the ice. That brought in by Martin. Loose into the slot. Martin outside the near circle. Martin trying to get a wide angle shot. That blocked away. I think that was Austin who got his stick in. Ended up getting collided into. And that shot, goal. as Grosse Pointe North takes the lead, as a couple of Livonia United players ended up colliding against each other underneath that far circle. And able to put it in is Villani. Villani with 2 of the 3 Grosse Pointe North goals. As that at 4:46. Grosse Pointe North with their first lead of the game. 3-2 with 4:44 left to go here in the third. Phillips that all the way back into the Grosse Pointe North end. That was a power play goal. As Roberts trying to move that puck over. Monsella trying to pull it away. Monsella with both Livonia United goals. Hammond firing it back. That puck outside the near circle. As that moved back by Phillips, now lifted. Coming down the near boards. Here comes Cleveland. Cleveland over center ice. Cleveland trying to get it back deep into the Livonia United zone, but that will be offside. 4:11 left to go here in the third. Grosse Pointe North 3-2. Again, great crowd here. You can join us as we will have 8 games here on Saturday, 4 in each rink, starting at 10:30 in the morning. And just make fun of me if I don't have a voice left at the end of Saturday. Poked away by Villani. Here comes Cuter. Cuter gains his own. Cuter as she collides, pulling it along the other direction is Conte. Right back into the neutral zone. Conte trying to feed it in front. Coming in is Shipley. Shipley top of the near circle. That shot covered up by Flan. As Flan had to make a quick move to her right and get a glove on it. 3:50 left to go. Grosse Pointe North with a 3-2 lead. Good game by both of these two teams. They have been whales of the game so far, at least that we've been able to broadcast today. Cuter again in to take the face-off on the far face-off circle. Is that versus Conte. Puck brought ahead. Cuter, good job to knock it away by Howe. As that comes back, lifted back the other direction by Hassan. Now lifting it, here comes Phillips. Phillips down the near board. Phillips gains his own. Phillips, top of the near circle. Phillips making her way out in front. Ferris trying to get the save. Loose, and it's fired in. Grosse Pointe North gets the go-ahead. 2 goals ahead goal. Grosse Pointe North extends their lead to 2. How about that? That's better English. As that was fired in by Kasuba. So Kasuba makes it 4-2. That with 3:26 left to go. Same score we had in the first game in this rink, although it was Bloomfield Birmingham with the 4-2 win over Washtenaw United. We still have 3 minutes and 26 seconds here, so a lot can happen. As Livonia United, I believe, called the timeout. They're trying to get this ship back righted. Livonia United had the opening goal of this game, as that was at 6:32. That was Monsala with the goal. Then Grosse Pointe North scored as Villani scored at 3:57 in the first. Then it was Livonia United, Monsala with another goal in the second at 2:24. Then in the third, Grosse Pointe North as Phillips scored at 11:04. And then it was a goal that tied it up. Then at 4:40, it was a goal by Villani, second of the game, that made it 3-2. Then 4-2 when it was Katsuba who scored at 3:26. That's where we stand here as both squads trying to make sure they get the most out of this remaining 3 minutes and 26 seconds left on the clock. Thank you so much for watching and cheering on either of these two teams. We're very grateful for your support of women's hockey, and especially the Michigan Girls High School Hockey League. That puck right over is sending it down the near boards. As that was Thomas with it. Now Cuter trying to pull it in. Cuter top of the far circle. That shot into the near corner with it. 3:15 left to go. Puck in along the far boards trying to bring it ahead is Henderson. Gets it back into the neutral zone. Monsala bringing it ahead. Monsala looking for the hat trick. Monsala, that puck right back to the far point, fired back deep, and I'll go right back behind Grosse Pointe North's goal into the near corner. Monsala trying to center it, and knocked away by Cleland. Now backhanded attempt by Stevens, covered up by Flan. 2:48 left to go here in the third. 4-2. Grosse Pointe North, 3-goal run to take the lead and give themselves a 2-goal buffer. Now Livonia United looking for that next goal to try and make this a 1-goal game. Grosse Pointe North looking to just continue to cruise. Knapp fires it all the way around and along the far boards. Conte with it there. Poke back as Villani fires it all the way back as that rolls on edge back into the Livonia United zone. Roberts has it in the far corner. 2:32 left to go. Shot there as that's a goal. Putting it in. Bernie, who got it right out in front and fired it in, is able to slip it past Ferris. And now Grosse Pointe North has broken it open, as they have had a glut of goals here late in the third. So I believe that was Bernie who got that. She was the one out in front. 5-2 now, Grosse Pointe North. 2:28 left to go. It's 148 seconds left to go here in the third. Cuter has it. Cuter trying to move it back. That's swept. Now right at center. Coming in Kasuba. Kasuba. It was Bernie who scored the goal. And all the way back into the Grosse Pointe North zone. Conte trying to get to it. Phillips coming down the near boards. And Shipley trying to pull it out of there. 2:07 left to go. As Livonia United trying to get that next goal. That puck lifted all the way back. Roberts has it in along the far boards of the neutral zone. Roberts fires it right back in. Thomas takes it top of the far circle. Thomas trying to lift it ahead. That knocked away in along the near boards. Villani brings it in top of the near circle. That moved over to Cuter. Cuter and pulled away, loose and swept all the way back to the near point. Trying to hold it in as Thomas. Now that brought all the way back. Phillips has it. 1:37 left to go here in the third. And fired ahead by Phillips. Intercepted down the far boards. Coming in. Here comes Livonia United. Shot from the far circle. That just goes wide. As that coming in along. That was Shipley. Austin trying to take a shot. That can't get through traffic. 1:22 left to go. Into the near corner. Thomas trying to feed it away. Austin right at center ice. Trying to knock it right back in. As here comes Cuter. Cuter over center ice. Cuter gains his own. Cuter moving in. Top of the far circle. Shot there. As that knocked away in back behind the goal. 1:04 left to go. Puck outside the near circle. Trying to bring it ahead. Grabbing it. We're under a minute left to go. Villani moves it back over to brought ahead by Phillips. Phillips trying to fire it down the far board. Now Kasuba trying to get it in. Cuter has it into the slot. Cuter with a shot. There's a save by Ferris onto the far circle. Monsala bringing it ahead. Now fired ahead. Monsala, who has both of Livonia United's goals. There's a shot knocked away by Ferris. And the exclamation point put in at 3:32. Believe that was Kasuba who put it in. As does indeed. That looks like Villani who got it. If so, that would be a hat trick for Villani. It was a valiant game by both of these teams. Livonia United had the lead. And then starting starting at 11:04, but really breaking open at 4:40. Grosse Pointe North has really had this last piece of the third. So 6-2. I need to update that on the scoreboard. That comes around down the near boards, bringing it ahead. Bernie trying to feed it in. Sorry, that's Cuter who put it in. And right at the blue line, brought back, trying to feed it ahead is Cleveland. 11 seconds left to go, all the way back into Livonia United, and Cuter has it. Cuter moves it over, that into the far corner. 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. That will do it. Grosse Pointe North moves on. They will be playing the Mid-Michigan Alliance. That will be 2 o'clock here at the Arctic Edge of Canton on Saturday, March 1st. So we will have 8 games on Saturday. Please come out, watch a lot of wonderful, amazing hockey. Final score here, 6-2, Grosse Pointe North with the win. It was a very tight game until late into the third, where Grosse Pointe North broke it open. Congratulations to both teams on a hard-fought game. For my camera person, Megan Wiseman. My name is Mark Wiseman. Thank you very much. We'll be back Saturday. Love to see you here. Come on down and watch some fantastic